Hello and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I'm your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka Dark Sheep. Welcome in, everybody. We have it here. It is Dinger season, the time we all have been waiting for. Tonight, we have a new special guest appearing for the first time in the Sheep Seats is Mike, aka Roto Juan. Welcome, Mike.
Heap, what's going on, my friend? How are we today?
We are excellent. We have hit the weekend. So we have gone from work to driving kids around to sports mode. So,
Sometimes.
You reached out to me to come on and talk. So I'll be honest, I don't know too much about you, but give us the Mike background.
Yeah, I've been kicking around the fantasy space for a few years now. Right now, I'm over at Rasball, do some preseason stuff with best ball. In the more involved best ball spaces like NFBC and Fantrax. But once Underdog came along, is a really nice way to start your best ball season with a little more streamlined product. So I've really been enjoying that the last few years, and it's a new puzzle to figure out with different rules and positions.
Absolutely. We got crew out here. Happy Friday. And Expert is here hiding in his box. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. You said you do some other sites, but how much do you plan to do, or how much have you done Underdog?
Yeah, so I'm not too heavy into the baseball side of Underdog yet. I like to wait for the new year with all my baseball stuff. Crossing over football and baseballs just gives you a headache. The NFL playoff returns contest really got their hooks into me this week.
Okay.
So I've only done a few baseball drafts. They're short and fun and easy. With only 4 people in the room, you can pretty much make any Super Bowl stack you want it.
Yeah. What's up, Brian? Melch is here. Snow falling outside, mulled wine inside. So it's time for some baseball. Absolutely. Yeah, and Matt, this shirt is courtesy of Sunday Dreamers. Casey has her mostly fantasy football shirts that she makes, but I was lucky enough to win a free shirt. So got to shout out her and the cool shirts. What's up? Duke's here. So I guess we're going to try it here.
T-shirts is like one of the 3 reasons to be a fantasy content producer, right?
Exactly. Free tools, free T-shirts, and maybe like $20 an article here and there.
If I can get a comped entry, I'm feeling pretty good.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to be doing the dinger. I don't know if you can try to get in real quick. It is 4 people, so we'll try to get in here.
Hopping in.
We'll see if we are able to get in here. Hopefully you got in.
That's good.
Well, we're right next to each other in 6 and 7. What's up, Easy? Everybody's sort of getting into baseball at their own time. Looking forward to you getting your projections and stuff out this year again. Hopefully you're doing that. SB's here. We got some Dallas or some Colorado people making a love connection, maybe. Who else we got here? We got Dr. Juice, and we got the FF Child. Bjorn Masterson's in here. Mr. Thurman is in here, who might be coming on next week. He reached out and said, "Hey, I'd like to try."
Yeah, that was really cool to see last week. Some folks wanting to dip their toes in.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of inspired me. You reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to come on," and then I was thinking about that and was like, more people need to get in this, and hopefully, we keep spreading the message. I do have going to be joining an interesting show this upcoming week, I think, to spread the message a little bit further. Corbin Carroll goes at 5 to Matt. So that is a boost. All right, so
Had to leave you Jordan, right?
you got to leave me Jordan, Tatis. We got to do it. I think I've done 3 fast drafts, and I've gotten Bobby Witten, all of them, just based on where I was at. So be good to go with one of these outfielders in this contest. I did get. I don't know where you sit on the Ellie De La Cruz line this year, Mike.
I'm an Ellie fan. It's always tough to take an infielder, right? But Ellie and Gunnar are kind of the other two I'm okay with in the first round. And even though Ellie had a good season last year, like it definitely didn't feel like it was his full ceiling.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah, and
it could go the other way too, but
right, it does seem like he has that down period. At kind of the end of the season, the power kind of went away. He stopped stealing quite as much, but Thurman at the end with a double infielder, that is always tough to build from there. But those are 2 pretty good core guys.
Yeah, I try to push myself into those builds every now and then just to make sure I can do it when it happens.
Yeah. I guess the more interesting thing is, I think it happens a lot more at the end. So it will be interesting to do it more in the middle of the draft, like Bobby Witt. I think most people are going to follow him with an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We got some options here. I think we're going to go with a Vladdy here. This is generally a similar start for me. Jordan, Vlad, Jordan, Freddie, Jordan, Matt Olson. Yeah, Melch also pointing out the excellent home park that he gets.
Yeah, one of the best in baseball for sure.
So you went with Ronald Acuna. Where are you at on taking Acuna this year, and just are you building differently with him, or are you just going to say he's going to be good pretty early, and he'll bring me my points later?
Yeah, I think he's going to be rocking and rolling when it counts the most. A little more risk than you probably want in a second round pick, but you see the names going after him. So for me, it's usually, am I going to go Skeens or Acuna after that 15, 16 ADP? And, you don't like to take a pitcher early, but there's a chance that Skeens is just that dude and is going to blow everyone away in the pitching world.
And we're here in a sheep seats lobby, so he falls. The anti-pitcher crew is out hot tonight.
Yeah, you can just get that purple off the screen, not worry about it for a nice long time. I forget who it was on Twitter, but somebody had mentioned that it's not an accident that wide receivers and outfielders are the same color on Underdog.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that said, I'm going to take the dive on Scooble.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a beast.
All right. I think yeah, we're going to do a little bit differently. Most builds I would go another outfielder here, but let's take these two anchors, and maybe this is a 6 infield build. Expert out here, Churio, Merrill, Langford are not second rounders to me, and I love Wyatt. Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear that the field values upside in this format, and people want to make these bets in this format, and just how it is, how it plays out in the playoff weeks. How people don't want to miss out on the next young superstar.
Yeah.
And
You have to be careful with that, though.
Right. And I think people are just more comfortable here because it costs less to lose.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about the struggles and making that roster decision every single week.
That too.
Beauty of best ball. I was hoping one of those two guys might slip for me, but
Who's that? Hap or Harris?
Hap or Harris, both guys that are not quite middle of the third for me, but not guys that are going to fall too far.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time to get to Hap this year. I'm still holding out hope that Michael Harris can pull off, or he has more of a ceiling that we've seen, but it's pretty scary based on how much time he's missed each year.
Yeah, both time missed and some of the struggles when he has been in.
Yeah, he kind of had a nice end of the season, but that was about it. All right, so we do get the potential stack here. I have been trying to do this. The Vlad Santander seems like, I don't know how much you want to believe Toronto's ever going to sign or trade or get or do anything good, but
Right.
they're technically still tied in rumors to Santander.
I mean, they got to get somebody, right?
Absolutely.
They're just striking out on free agent after free agent, unless you count Hoffman, who's failed some physicals and saying all kinds of weird stuff that he failed the physical because he didn't feel good that day. Or
Is that what I missed that? That's pretty crazy because if they want to convince Vlad to stay and take a deal, you got to put some other stuff around him. Can't rely on Bo Bichette this year.
No, yeah, it's the heyday of Toronto is long gone. Those days where you could just pick any Toronto bat and lock him in, or in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, but the thing is, how do they just keep getting tied? Like, are they actually trying? That I guess that's really the ultimate question I have. Are they actually trying to get these guys, or are they just being used as leverage every time?
Yeah, I feel like they're one of those few teams that has the payroll, is willing to spend it, and is a leverage play for, I really want to be in New York or LA.
Yeah.
But can I squeeze another year into this contract?
All right. We got our picks coming up here. The purple is starting to bunch up at the top. So you have some pitcher options here.
Yeah, I'll take the plunge on Adelise.
Okay.
I think he's got one more season in him at near elite production.
Okay.
That whole Texas lineup had a pretty down year. I can't see everyone in Texas having that problem again.
We have Melchior waiting for the Rockies to do anything during the offseason. Well, they let Brendan Rodgers go and then brought in just basic replacement to Brendan Rodgers. I forget who they. Thairo Estrada. What?
Just another struggling prospect.
Expert is with you here on the Adelise bounce back. I can't say that I love it. I'm pretty fearful there, but I have been taking him at this cost, and with Seager and stuff, and put him with Wyatt Langford sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, it's much cheaper than it had been prior seasons, and he doesn't have to give you what he did in 23 to be a profit there.
Absolutely. I went with Christian Yelich. Big surprise.
I thought about getting him in front of you just to
yeah.
wheel
I mean, there's other guys, but when he's there, I can get him.
He's your flag plant.
I have not gotten a lot of him in the dinger yet in my few drafts, so I'm perfectly fine doing that.
Yeah, it's funny, you keep drafting players over and over, and then you go and you look at your exposures, and you're like, is that all I have? I thought I've drafted this guy in every single draft. How am I, in the high teens or 20s?
Yeah, I do. I'm still wrapping up some slows, but I've got about 40% in the bullpen of Yelich, and Robbie Ray is the other guy that we've flag planted. All right, so I did that also knowing that, or hoping that one of these two Houston guys come back, and Niner Fever takes Jose Altuve, but I'm perfectly happy getting Christian Walker here. Load up my.
Have to go back to the pitching well.
Okay, Gilbert there. Anybody else that you're looking at?
At that point? I don't really have any strong stack correlation going so far, so not really. This is obviously a tough room, so you're not getting many values falling to you.
Yeah, I guess in terms of pitchers, there, Gilbert, Reagan, Sale was there, Nola.
I don't have the faith in Sale that he can stay healthy an entire year again. Obviously over a season and I guess a month of the 23 season has been really, really good. But a dude who's had his share of weird injuries and arm struggles. I like Reagan's a lot. Kansas City's like quietly become that new pitcher destination for you go there and they figure it out for you with Reagan's and Lugo. They signed Michael Wacha this offseason. It'll be interesting to see if he continues his late career resurgence with them.
The big news today, of course, Roki Sasaki, big surprise. No one is surprised. Signs with the Dodgers. So I don't know. I mean, my reaction is, yep, okay.
I mean, for our purposes, kind of like the worst landing spot because they're going to be fine with being patient, having some IL stints, figuring out how to play that game and get him into the season ready to go. So
I did make a team yesterday that I took Snell, Sasaki, and Glasnow all on the same team, just figuring that, I put these guys together and they're going to hopefully get me my, one start really high weeks. All right. Mark Vientos there.
Yeah, I feel like if you take Sasaki, you've got to pair him with somebody like Strider, somebody that's going to miss that beginning of the year.
All right, I'm going to pop Framber Valdez up here. He's a guy who every time I go to look for him, he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that way in the bullpen, so I'm going to pop him up. I don't know if I love him better than Pablo Lopez. Pretty equivalent to Aaron Nola probably, but he's never there when I look for him. So we're going to start our pitching team with that. Melch,
yeah, just here, a really solid dude.
Melch here, his top three exposures are Ellie, Tovar, and Gunnar. That's an interesting combination. I don't know. Tovar is a guy that just scares me with just how much he swings. He doesn't walk. And at this point, where is he at? He's at 103. I guess that's not terrible ADP, but he's not a guy I've gotten too much of.
Yeah, it feels like they have to keep him in the lineup with his defense, though.
Yeah. If I've been taking one-off pieces, I've just been waiting for Michael Toglia from Colorado. The Dodgers 7-man rotation incoming. I don't know if how much that would work. Yeah, Tovar can definitely boom. I get it. Last year I was pretty heavy on late Colorado stacks, but even then, they just as a team, they kind of somehow even more disappointing than you expect. All right, so Thurman gets his first pitcher in Sasaki, so that's an interesting move. We'll see how he builds around that. JR Boston is held off on their pitcher. Otherwise, everybody else has started their pitching staff, at least. JR Boston starts with Logan Webb.
Yeah, we're at that point. You kind of have to start being balanced as you go through the rest of the draft.
Yeah. Something I want to look at some more is, so we know that, the early rounds, people aren't taking pitchers as much, but how much more are they taking them in these 5 through 10 rounds compared to last year?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
It feels like people are taking many more in this period. So let's see. We are on the clock. This is interesting. I do have the Toronto stack pieces coming up soon, but I've not seen Dylan Cruz fall like this. So I think we're going to grab him here just as an interesting piece, potential young breakout candidate there. Our friend Reducing Juice was trying to sell me on Dylan Cruz by telling me that he has a Christian Yelich profile. So he knew how to push my buttons.
Yeah, it's Yelich light.
Wait a minute, Duke. I think, I don't remember saying anything about that, but maybe, I have an aunt and uncle that live out there. Maybe you can stay with them. Maybe I can offer that up, but I won't buy you tickets. I guess where are you based? Who's your team, Mike?
I'm in the just outside of Philadelphia, so
okay.
Pull for the Phillies. Best ball has allowed me to transcend.
Oh, absolutely.
Regional fandom.
Experts, highest exposures: Castillo, Soler, and Adolis. 3 guys that you're buying the bounce back. Some older guys buying the bounce back, which is that's interesting. Castillo has kind of scared me.
Yeah, but he's an interesting one. He was so good when he went out to Seattle, and it's such a pitcher's park. If he recaptures even a little bit of that magic.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year. With Charlie Blackmon retired now, gonna be missing that walk-up song, Melch.
Yeah.
Of course, the thing I'm gonna be missing this year is Bob Uecker. I've been doing some posts on Twitter, but he's a lot to do with some of my original love of baseball has a lot to do with Bob Uecker. So I got a little bit emotional yesterday. And today, all the videos and stuff coming out, I've been eating them all up and tearing up at each one. Because, I don't know, we'll take Freddie here. Because when I was growing up, the Brewers were terrible, right? Like, there was no reason to follow them at all. But, didn't matter. My dad didn't care, he'd have the radio on. Usually that was before, like mainstream cable networks and all that. So it was the radio. That's how we listened to baseball. Up at the shack, out on the patio, eating outside, listening to Brewers. Just like ingrained in me. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah, that's how the Phillies were in my early years. Was it was very strange when they started winning in the early 2000s. What's a playoff game?
Yeah, that one of the calls, is that first that's been going around is the first time the Brewers going to the playoffs again in a long time. So that at that point I was like in college, and so that's like bringing it back a whole other memory of hearing him make some of those calls and that excitement of finally having playoff games and stuff.
Right.
Crew's gonna watch Major League this weekend. I think you saw it. Alex Rodriguez tweeted it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's not just the people of Cleveland that are going to miss Bob Uecker. So
yeah.
First of all, I doubt that he even writes his own tweets.
Right. That's anytime you see that, it's like this was somebody who's handling PR that doesn't know anything.
We got to say something. Everybody else is talking about it.
Right, let me Google this person's name.
Let's see here. All right. I think I want another pitcher here. And we're going to go down to Bryce Miller, who I'm hoping has a pretty nice little breakout this year. Let's go back to some of these messages here. I guess let's check on your team. You do get Soler there. You got Strider before and Taylor Ward. I guess that maybe you don't have to give away your secrets, but are you looking at bigger LA stacks, Angels at all this year, or is it kind of just taking the pieces as they make sense?
Yeah, just struggling to find stacks so far, so got to start connecting some dots.
Yeah, this is some of the other stuff that's been coming across the Norm Macdonald, Bob Uecker stories about just how dirty he was, and how, like, he's got this big nice guy persona, and just
right
how nasty he is when he's not on the mic, which has been, everybody says that, but they're hilarious. You should definitely go check those out. Melch has had a Hams beer at Miller Park. Excellent. Let's check on Duke's exposures. He's in to Wilson, Contreras, I assume Ryan Nelson, Hunter Brown, Wu, Ober, Rooker, Wallner, Gavin, King, and Yandy, all over 40%. So Duke is not afraid to get his guys.
I guess Duke figuring that Arizona's moving Jordan Montgomery at some point. They're pretty bitter when he took his player option. The owner coming out and being like, well, what's with that? You elected your player option.
Yeah. If I were, it's really funny, like, that he keeps, I guess that's the round I want, is he's still there, and he ends up being really helpful for them.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that, and why, as an owner, why you wouldn't expect it. I mean, I guess he doesn't think he earned it, but
All right, so here I'm looking at Vinny Pasquantino, who I'm still looking for a super big breakout from him. Everything's there, and that offense has improved around him. Melch has got some Wisconsin hookups. Super Dave, Sheep, you sniped me in a slow draft. Okay, I apologize. I've been on the clock on a lot, so I can't tell you which one this is. I named it the draft Dark Sheep Bracket. I didn't even notice that you were in it. I'm everywhere. No, I loaded up on slow drafts over the holidays, and those are finally starting to close out.
Yeah, you're the football version or the baseball version of Ben Gretsch, who, if folks are unfamiliar, he has to drive across state lines to enter underdog contests. We'll just max out and drive home, but then he's in 100 drafts at once.
I don't quite do that to myself. It's like normally it's 5 to 10, but I got into like 30 over the holidays.
I like to kind of tail them into each other. Once you get into the middle of one, start the next one. So you've got a little bit of understanding of where you're at in the draft and the team.
Yeah. I guess I started a bunch because I knew I wouldn't have time over the holidays to like sit down and do full drafts, so that way I could still be tuned in on stuff. And all right,
you're up here, Sheep.
Coming up. Interesting fall on Paredes a little bit. We're hitting the end of the outfield zone. The comfortable outfielders are almost all gone, but I think I'm going to go pitcher here and get Justin Steele and just go even across the board with 4 of each at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of Steele this year.
Yeah, I was kind of down on him last year, and then he just kept performing at the level that he was the previous year once he got back from injury. So
yeah, that's the thing is you look at his overall stat line, and he missed a lot of time in the beginning of the season with that injury. So
all right, so you went with Dansby there, and you had Jake Berger before, some just like meat and potatoes guys. I think at this point the infielders are those guys.
Yeah, just connecting to earlier players and hoping some lineup correlation happens there at some point.
Sure. We got a question here from FK Coolers. Are you doing any overstacks, as in more than 5 hitters on one team, or does there reach a certain point where it becomes an opportunity cost issue of being too exposed to one team? Yeah, so in general, it's 3 guys on a stack. I'll go up to 4. I think I have 4 here. No, I don't have 4 yet. But then I think the one exception might be the Dodgers this year that I'm going up to 5. Just trying to capitalize on that entire lineup up and down, just because you can get, I mean, they've come up a bit. Let's see where they're sitting now these days. Max Muncy at 164, Tommy Edman 186, Michael Conforto still here at 190. Like, if you want to get crazy and think Will Smith has a bounce back in him, he's always there.
Yeah, Dodgers are nice to have in that back pocket as you get late in the draft. You can start grabbing some pieces and tying that thread together.
All right. Oh, this is a gross part of the draft. I don't know. Let's get a Matt Wallner. Like these platoon guys have, with power potential have that, last year we could get 180, 190, and the outfield are just moving right up the board. But I felt like I needed an outfielder there. So that's where we went.
Now, are you generally staying away from platoons, or are you happy if it's in a stack?
Generally staying away, stacking, yeah, more often. But at a certain point, these outfielders, like, I mean, Jock was the guy who I was taking a lot of unstacked when he was in 200, the 200 zone. So he's creeping his way into this platoon zone too, and he's becoming more of a stack guy than just tack on as an outfielder.
Yeah, especially as you get later in the draft, it's more and more worthwhile to take a guy that's late who could be working his way into a full-time job.
Question here is on Bobby Miller. Do we think the Dodgers only start Snell, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Glasnow, and now Roki? Well, we kind of know that Ohtani's not going to be ready at the start of the season to pitch. All of these other guys have lots and lots of health questions. Bobby Miller does owe me from last year some money, but I can't go there. I can't do it.
I had a lot of Bobby Miller. I do think we see him again. I just think the Dodgers are going to be very cautious, take their time, let him show that he's who they thought he was in the minors again. And, with the way their rotation always kind of comes unglued, they will probably need him late in the year. So
yeah, May and Gonsolin also both coming back from injuries. Yeah, so I mean, the joke is they're going to be looking for help at the trade deadline again, just with the type of risks that they're willing to take.
For sure,
seem to play out. I do think we'll see some starts from Bobby Miller too. Yeah, this year I think that happens. It's not going to be enough to matter in this format. I'm not saying he's never going to be a big league. I mean, his best bet would be to get traded at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that they could find a reasonable value for him. Yeah, because he was the up and coming pitching prospect this time last year.
Yeah, there's more names here. Landon Knack, Michael Sheen. Yeah. So yeah, they definitely wouldn't get much for him, but that's kind of his best bet. But where else is he going to go to get better training than the Dodgers too?
Right.
All right. So you did take Nico Horner and Josh Lowe. You're coming up here. So you're at 3.56. So what are you thinking here upcoming?
Yeah, grabbing a pitcher here, either Luzardo or Fat.
Okay.
Guys that have a little bit of bounce back with Luzardo, or Fat just hasn't put it all together. The long ball kind of is his undoing, but I think the Phillies took a chance on Luzardo to get him right, and maybe they see something in the mechanics they think they can smooth out, but you get meaningful innings from him, it's going to be a nice profit.
Yeah. So for me it's Woodruff or Fat here. I'm going to go Woodruff. He does not seem to be. I thought Woodruff would get a little bit of a boost, but he does not seem to be moving up yet. We're gonna have to, after the news
on him.
Yeah, I mean, we had the news that he's throwing bullpens, so I thought he would get a little bump because people would be a little more comfortable, but it has not come. So I'll just keep loading up, and then be disappointed when he's throwing slow and has no movement on any of his pitches because his shoulder still hurts. But I think that's the other thing, though. Like in the landscape of fantasy analysis, people feel more comfortable with Tommy John surgery because it happens so often. Like, we hear the Tommy John honeymoon, is talking about all the time. There's like statistics on it, so people feel comfortable going back to that. So I think just something like the shoulder injury and shoulder surgery that we don't have any data on. People are just a little more scared.
Yeah.
All right, this next pick is pretty easy for me. This is Jeremy Pena, who just does not get any love year after year. He had that awesome World Series and never lived up to it. People just don't give him any love. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's where he hits in the lineup or what, but he just produces at a solid clip.
Exactly.
Year in, year out. Not that he's been around that long, but.
All right, and so you did take Zach Nato. I've been, speaking of shoulders, I've been pretty scared to invest too much in Zach Nato.
Yeah, same. If he weren't part of a stack.
Yeah, that was the question. Is this a stack thing? He's a guy that if you're playing daily games, that he's always there in Angel stacks if you're playing the daily and by projections. Like, yeah, you see put up 1,200, 1,250 last year, 23 home runs, bunch of stolen bases.
Yeah,
So
he was really breaking out. It was disappointing that he had the injury he did.
Yeah. It's like, we see Xavier Edwards here at the top. It's like Xavier Edwards with power.
Yeah.
I have not gotten to maybe one or two shares of Xavier in the bullpen, but I don't know, anybody else in Miami out there that you've even entertained or queued up, much less clicked?
Miami's so hard because it's playing time is so unpredictable there. You think you've got some of these guys penned in, but like Stowers, they traded for, so of course they should give him some leash and some run, but you don't know what the front office is thinking. He struggles a little bit, and they're seeing what else they have in the cupboard.
Yeah, the opposite side of that being that there's plenty of playing time if they are even semi decent this year.
True.
But I haven't got there. Maybe I need to do a deeper dive on Miami, trying to actually look at that playing time. But all right, let's see.
Time to start.
My draft seems to have frozen. Okay, we are on the clock. We missed that.
16.
All right. We're just gonna jump them up here. We're gonna jump on the Christian Campbell hype train with this. Put him with Devers in a mini stack. But
do you worry about Devers and the shoulders at all?
Yes, I do. I mean, yeah. So he didn't miss too much time, but it happened there at the end. He was looking good before it. I don't know. Yes, I am worried about it. But I think, ADP of 30.
Yeah, he's always solid at his ADP year in, year out to return reasonable value. I don't think you're going to get huge value like the year he stole a bunch of bases. Those days are past. But when you start trying to say, okay, who can I grab in this round that is going to not lose me value, he's usually one of those guys.
Yeah, and I think without the shoulder, he'd be going more towards that Olsen Freddie group. But yeah, Expert is not into stacking bad teams. I mean, the counterpoint, Miami 2 years ago was a pretty decent stack. If you got, if if you got to Oakland a little bit last year, you could have got some nice value. I mean, mostly Rooker, but yeah. But I get that mentality too. Tampa Bay is an interesting one. They're a late stack. If you want to risk Brandon Lowe here, he just went to JR Boston.
It's like everybody on Tampa's a risk, but you forget that they're going to be playing in a different park. So how's that going to play?
Yeah, that is supposed to benefit Brandon Lowe. So
I wonder if they're going to do anything like jack up the humidor for the balls or something to try and balance some of these minor league parks teams are playing in.
That's interesting to consider. We are on the clock. I'm at a 6.65. Spent a lot at infield, but all right. We're just getting another pitcher here. Bowden Francis. One of the names I cycled through here at the end. Seems like he discovered something last year. Projections aren't going to totally show it because it's so far off of his baselines as a career. So could be a risk, but yeah. Got a couple of shout outs from here from Super Dave. You took Bubba Chandler. Where are you thinking we get to see Bubba Chandler this year?
I'm not sure on that front, but James Anderson's pretty high on him, and when it comes to prospects, he's one of the guys I'm usually happy to rely on. So,
okay, yeah, he is a guy that I'm mixing in at the end. Absolutely,
it feels like Pittsburgh's going to have to start pushing some chips in with some of the youth they have.
Yeah, and it's not like we have seen them now. Jared Jones, Paul Skeens to not be afraid to push, which is a good sign, a team philosophy that we wouldn't expect out of the Pirates, but we're happy to see at this point.
And with not that it's that new, but the newer collective bargaining teams don't have to be quite as they don't have to monkey around with service time quite as hard.
Yeah. Super Dave talking about Tobias Myers. I have not even entertained that pick. I do not trust the production that he put up last year. It just does not match with anything in his history. So, even if he gets 150 innings because he is starting that many games for the Brewers, it's not like he strikes anybody out. So I don't think I'm missing anything skipping on Tobias Myers, and I think the risk level is pretty high. All right. Interesting pick here for Midorad, a Pavin Smith pick. I don't know that I've seen too much Pavin Smith drafted. Milo here with the question: do baseball season-long drafts ever get canceled? Someone in my draft earlier took Olsen, Urshela, LeMahieu in the first 3 rounds. We got to make a pick here. The simple answer is no.
Yeah, I feel like Underdog is really wary of that.
As far as season-long stuff. All right. Do you want to talk me down from the Victor Robles edge? Because I keep doing it.
I mean, if you can get a leadoff hitter this late,
outfielder eligibility.
There's some guys like that. You want to get really crazy, you could get Isaiah Kiner Falefa from Pittsburgh.
I have not gotten that crazy. He's an infielder at least.
Yeah, not really been drafted, but he's projected to lead off.
This is true, but it's more of I'm going back to this tantalizing, this per game underdog points per game stat that Victor Robles put up as like top 10 last year. He didn't play all season, but he put up points in the underdog format.
Yeah, I mean, if they let him run with some leash, I think you're looking at a good chance for him to stick somewhere useful.
This has been a nice speedy draft tonight. So I'm at 766. I feel pretty good with my infield. I did take the flyer on Campbell. So there is some thought to putting on Yainer Diaz here and getting my 4-man Houston stack. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to go if he makes it to us. Bjorn takes Cutter Crawford. Ooh, we got a Joe Adell sighting. We're getting some deep cuts on this draft.
Yeah, Adele had crossed my mind with the Angels connection there.
Yeah, I think he ended up getting hurt at the end of the season, but he ended up putting 20 home runs, 15 stolen bases. He didn't score a bunch of points, but
we thought we were not hearing from Joe Adell again in baseball.
Exactly.
He proves folks wrong.
So yeah, we'll put this to the team. I'm pretty sure I know the answer here, but who's got the largest contract in White Sox history? Current player going undrafted. So
is he currently on the White Sox?
Yes. He is currently on the White Sox. He is an outfielder. Yep. I think Cruz got it here. Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah, that's right.
Who he does have an ADP. And when it comes down to it, I probably should be going there over the dumb one that I've been going to is occasionally doing a Mike Tauchman just because I'm bored because he might lead off there. But Benintendi's probably the better bet if you want a one-off Chicago outfielder at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if he's at all his former self, they'd probably prefer him up there at first or second.
Yeah. And, last year was abysmal, but, I mean, he's never really been great either. That's the other thing. But
now, we go through cycles with him of buying in, forgetting who he is, seeing who he is, being out, buying in.
Yep, exactly. Super Dave is showing his prospect roots here. He's been giving us prospects all night. So Colson Montgomery is someone that Dave is interested. I'm not sure I get to him in this contest.
Yeah, prospects are tough on Underdog here. You're really not looking to take a lot of zeros.
But we are not going to do another one tonight. We're gonna cut it off at 1. But yeah, I think maybe if you're out there looking to draft, I think you can hop over to the Badge Bros. Nez may be doing a dinger tonight for his late night stream. So
Nice.
If not, yell at him to do one, because that's what I'll probably go over there and yell at him to do one. But not tonight for me. But I ended up 776. We got a Framber Valdez, Freddie Peralta, Bryce Miller, Justin Steele, Sean Manayo, Brandon Woodruff, Bowden Francis. Pretty common sort of names. Infield, we got Vlad, Devers, Christian Walker, Vinny Pascantino, Jeremy Pena, Christian Campbell, and Yainer Diaz. Our outfield is Jordan Alvarez, Anthony Santander, Christian Yelich, Dylan Cruz, Matt Wallner, Victor Robles. A lot of questions in this outfield after Santander from me, but I think I like this team overall.
And I like that Houston stack.
Let's check out yours. I'll let you run through your team and talk about it here.
Yeah, a little heavier on pitching than I usually go. Just was the room, as is expected in a sheep draft, right?
Yeah.
Probably one stack short of where I wanted to be. Only got Chicago and LA, but some nice one-off players I think that were hard to say no to, like Machado and Vientos at the top there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny. Like maybe I did too many bullpens, but I'm already starting to get roster fatigue. Looking at a roster, be like, "Yep, that's another team of baseball players. Let's do another one."
Yeah, that's where I'm at. As I mentioned, the NFL playoff stuff. It's like, all right, I've got Bills Eagles, I've got Bills Lions, I've got Ravens Lions.
You're
just going through those very similar permutations.
Thank you, Coolers, for coming out, and thank you, Matt, for coming out. Appreciate it. Mike, this was excellent. Thank you for reaching out and coming on. I always love talking to anyone about this stuff. So
appreciate you having me.
Happy to be here. Oh, one more call from Super Dave. Ravens Eagles. That's who you want.
I'd be into that.
Yeah. So a Philly guy. I can imagine you wouldn't mind a Philly Super Bowl.
Not at all.
Thank you, crew. Thanks everybody. Go keep filling these lobbies. Let's fill these contests up and enjoy a little bit more playoff football this weekend, and otherwise have a good weekend.